is going on, guys? It's your boy Dylan the Villain, and we're coming back at you once again with some more Total Extreme Wrestling 2020. Sorry I haven't got these episodes uploaded here recently. I've kind of been sick, so I kind of just put that on the back burner while I'm dealing with my sickness. That summertime flu, as you know what I'm saying. But we are going to go ahead and start the pre-show matchup with Jushin Thunder Liger taking on Spike Dudley, Crash Holly, Jerry Lynn, and Super Crazy. And Jushin Thunder Liger picks up the win against Crash Holly, Jerry Lynn, Spike Dudley, and Super Crazy in an elimination 5-way matchup in 13:39. With Super Crazy being the first, then Spike Dudley, then Jerry Lynn, and finally Crash Holly. The match got a 48. Awesome show. Awesome pre-show matchup to get the show started. Announcing color commentary gave the match a boost, and Crash Holly is getting better at his gimmick. We're going to move on to the next segment. And in our other pre-show main event matchup, excuse me, Fit Finlay defeats Big Daddy V with the Emerald Fusion. Emerald Fusion is what I always thought it was called. But he picks up Big Daddy V and he drops him on his head. Fit Finlay with a 58 and Big Daddy V with a 45. Announcing color commentary got the match boost, and the match got a 55. We are going to move on to our next segment, which is basically, I ran out of time on the card, but it's basically a hype promo. Basically hyping up what we are expected to see here tonight on Monday Night Raw. Tonight, Vince McMahon on the WWF.com, Vince McMahon announced that he will be rewarding The Rock a brand new championship title for being the new Intercontinental Champion. He already rewarded The Rock with his own TV show. Now he's rewarding The Rock with his brand new Intercontinental Championship. They are going to retire the Intercontinental Championship that we love more than anything, and they're going to introduce a new Intercontinental Championship title tonight. Kurt Angle makes his big return tonight as he will be in action in tonight's main event. Sabu will be in action tonight, and we also have a nice cruiserweight matchup as Dean Malenko takes on number one contender Ultimo Dragon. Here tonight, we have some big matches here tonight. And let's get on to the action as we open up the show with Kurt Angle coming out to the ring. And Kurt Angle makes his debut, and the crowd's kind of, they really don't know whether to cheer Kurt or boo Kurt. And Michael Cole is there to interview him. Pardon me, guys. And Michael Cole is in the ring, and he interviews Kurt, and he goes, Kurt, you've suffered an injury at a house show, and we didn't know how long you were going to be out, but you returned sooner than what we thought you were going to be out for, and we're glad to have you back. You made a special request that you wanted to take on anybody who thought they were man enough to come out here and face you. Oh, do you like any words? Do you have a particular opponent in mind? Kurt's just like, yeah, I do. As an Olympic gold medalist, I want the best. I want a main event caliber wrestler to come out here and challenge me to a matchup, so I can prove to each and every single one of my American fans here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, which I believe should be the heart and soul of America. And the crowd pops, yeah, woo, Michigan. He said our hometown. And it gets a pop, and he basically says, I want somebody who's a main event guy. All of a sudden, Rey Mysterio's music kicks, and Rey Mysterio comes out, jumping out the sky. Here we go. It's Mysterio, and he comes out to the ring, and Kurt Angle's kind of like, what the hell? And he's looking at Rey Mysterio, and he goes, you want to challenge me? And Rey Mysterio has a mic in his hand. He goes, that's right. And Kurt's like, you got to be joking. He goes, I'm looking for a man to wrestle, not a boy. And Rey Mysterio, he kind of smiles and shakes his head and is like, yeah, I heard that one before. And he goes, Rey Mysterio goes, it's not about the size of the dog in the fight, but it's about the fight in the dog. And Kurt's just like, what? That doesn't even make sense. He's just like, well, I'll tell you what, Rey Mysterio. Here in the WWF, this is a man's world. And I'm a man. And I'm going to manhandle you all over this arena tonight. And he goes, you want a match? You want an opportunity to prove yourself against a top level caliber wrestler like Kurt Angle? Then you're on, little man. And he walks out and he bumps Rey Mysterio with his shoulder, and he walks out of the ring and he shakes his head. Michael Cole's like, there you go, you have it. Tonight's main event will be Rey Mysterio taking on Kurt Angle. What a big opportunity this is for Rey Mysterio to accept Kurt Angle's challenge. Yeah. So we're going to move on to the next segment. And it is our opening contest as Mike Awesome takes on Bomb. And he beats Bomb with an awesome bomb. Mike Awesome with a 64. The match got a 64. Nice. Bomb with a 52. Announcing the color commentary gave the match a boost. Mike Awesome benefited from having a hot new move, which is that awesome bomb. Again, guys, I apologize if my voice cracks in and out. I'm trying to get over this sickness and everything like that, so just bear with me. In this promo, which got a 100, wouldn't expect anything less from Raven. He's basically backstage in the hallway, and he's chewing out Matt and Jeff for failing to beat Edge and Christian. And he goes, I can't believe that y'all let me down. See, I took y'all in to my flock, to my nest, to help me better this company, but yet once again I'm let down by every single person that I let into my group, to let them gain popularity off of me, off of my namesake. You see, people wouldn't know about the Hardy Boys if it wasn't for Raven. People wouldn't know about the Dudleys if it wasn't for Raven. People wouldn't know about Tommy Dreamer if it wasn't for Raven. People wouldn't even know about ECW, which, I mean, they got bought out by the WWF anyway, but they wouldn't know what ECW was all about if it wasn't for Raven. And tonight, I hand-selected your opponents. It is opponents that people wouldn't know if it wasn't for Raven. People wouldn't know who they were if it wasn't for a very long time ago, if Raven didn't take them in under his wing and tried to guide them. But like every single person that Raven took in, that I took in, that I helped try to mentor and guide, they turned their back on me. So tonight, I want you to show them what loyalty is all about and how you should never turn your back on a murder. And how you should never turn your back on a creature such as a raven. Quote the Raven, nevermore. So the Hardys, they come out, and their opponents is the Pitbulls. In a poor match, the Hardys defeat the Pitbulls when Jeff Hardy pinned Pitbull number 2 with an Omega event. The Hardys pick up the win here tonight. The match got a 61. Not a good match, not a bad match. Pitbull number 2 with a 50. Both the Pitbulls with the 50 actually. Matt Hardy with a 75 and Jeff with a 78. Pitbull number 1 and 2 have the tag team specialist bonus. Matt and Jeff have excellent tag team chemistry together. Who would have guessed that? Matt and Jeff also have the tag team special bonus. Announcing color commentary gave a match a boost, and Matt Hardy benefited from having a hot new move. Nice. We move on to our next segment, which is Owen Hart. And he's backstage, and he walks into Vince McMahon's office. And he goes, Vince, you know, I was looking at the match card tonight, and I noticed that I'm not booked tonight. And Vince is like, well, yeah, you know, we've already had this show booked for weeks now, and like we already had this show booked like since last Monday. And Owen's just like, well, you're not gonna have your number one contender showcase his skills? And Vince is like, number one contender for what? The European Championship? And Owen kind of is flabbergasted. And he goes, you're excuse me, European Championship? Vince is like, well, I know that you're not the number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship. Well, I haven't even determined the number one contender for that title yet. And Owen's just like, no, I'm talking about the World Wrestling Federation World Heavyweight Championship, Vince. You didn't see last week what I did to Ken Shamrock? You didn't see what I did at the pay-per-view against the former champion, my brother Bret Hart? Vince was like, yeah, I did see that. And he kind of looks at Shane like, do you remember that? And Shane's kind of shrugs his shoulders like, nah, I don't know, you know? Like, I didn't see it. And Vince is like, well, I'll tell you what, Owen. He's like, your brother's Bret. He's in Canada. Next week we'll be in Canada. And I'll tell you what. Since you want to be the number one contender for the World Wrestling Federation Championship, I'll tell you what. He goes, if you can beat your brother again, then he's like, I'll have no choice than to give you that number one contendership match. And Bret's just like, what? No, this is bullcrap. He's like, I already beat Bret. I beat Shamrock. I'll beat anybody that you want me to go against. He's like, hell, if you want, I'll even beat your golden boy, The Rock. And Vince is like, well, hold on now. He goes, I hear what you're saying. And I obviously see that you can't get the job done. And Owen's just like, what? I can't get the job done? He's like, I already got the job done. But I tell you what, Vince. You know, Vince playing mind games with him. And he's like, I tell you what, Vince. He goes, on SmackDown, he goes, I'll take on anybody in the back, and I'll let you handpick anybody that you want to on SmackDown, since I have the night off. and I'll beat them, and I'll show you why I deserve to be the #1 contender for the World Wrestling Federation World Heavyweight Championship. Vince is like, okay, anybody, huh? And Owen's like, anybody. Vince is like, okay, okay, yeah. Well, I'll write it in. And he gets out a notebook. You know, he gets like a little, like, personal pad thing, and he writes it down and he hands it to Shane. He's like, we'll make that match happen. So on SmackDown, Owen Hart will be taking on a mystery opponent hand-selected by Vince McMahon. And if Owen can beat that person, Owen will be the #1 contender for the World Wrestling Federation World Heavyweight Championship. This segment got a 97. Let's move on to our next segment, which is Sabu taking on Bob Holly. And Sabu beats Bob Holly in a hardcore matchup. What other kind of matchup will there be? With an Arabian facebuster, which is one of the most brutal moves in all professional wrestling, in my opinion. Sabu with a 71, not bad. Bob Holly with a 59, not bad. Camp Cornette storyline advances, and that's the color commentary getting the match boost, and the match got a 69. Nice. We move on to the next segment. Oh, God. Oh, man. I'm going to have to take a sip of my drink here and try my best with my voice already given out, doing a Jim Cornette impersonation. But we see Sabu. I forgot to put Bill Alfonso in the segment, but we see Sabu and Bill Alfonso in the ring. And on the Titantron, we see Jim Cornette with Rob Van Dam. And as Rob Van Dam's working out in the back. And he goes, Sabu, you may call yourself the homicidal, genocidal, suicidal, pesticidal maniac, or whatever slogan you want to call yourself, or have for yourself. But I tell you one thing, and one thing right now, mister. You are nothing compared to the whole effing show, Rob Van Dam. Mr. Monday Night, Mr. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whatever day they're going to show SmackDown, and Mr. Sunday Night Heat. You are no match, you are no comparison to Rob Van Dam. You see, while you were still wrestling in those bingo halls, Rob Van Dam got a call from me, Jim Cornette, saying, buddy, you have what it takes to be a world-class athlete. You have what it takes to make the real money. You don't have to put your body on the line like a stupid idiot. And those stupid idiot fans in the bingo halls, oh no. You can come here and work for a real company like the World Wrestling Federation and make money. And boy, has Rob Van Dam made money. He's won the light heavyweight championship. And he's beaten anybody and everybody in the light heavyweight division. And he's moving on up in the world. And you got somebody like you, Sabu, who is trying to pull him back down the card. Well, Sabu, I tell you what. This last Sunday of this month of October is WWF's, one of WWF's biggest pay-per-views, No Mercy. And I tell you one thing, Sabu, you may call yourself the genocidal, the homicidal, the pesticidal, whatever you want to call yourself. But I tell you one thing, you are going to have no match and no mercy from Rob Van Dam as he jumps in the air and hits you with that Van Daminator, and he beats you 1, 2, 3 in the middle of that ring, and he sends you packing back to that bingo hall, the new developmental territory for the World Wrestling Federation, because, buddy, I just watched your match, and it was the shits. I was watching you, and I couldn't tell if you knew what a a wrist lock from a wrist watch was. You might say that you're tougher than a $2 steak from Waffle House, but buddy, you're greener than moose shit. While my client Rob Van Dam is slicker than cum off a gold tooth. So you keep calling out Rob Van Dam. You keep making yourself known. You want a match, buddy? Rob Van Dam said he'll already give you that match and send you packing. So at WWF No Mercy, Sabu, you're on. And that'll be the last time that we'll see you, just like that was the last time that we'll ever see Chris Candido. We'll see you at No Mercy. All of a sudden, we get interrupted. And it's kind of like the... I mean, I really don't want to rip off the NWO type thing, but like, we kind of get like a Bray Wyatt, right? For y'all new school wrestling fans, like that, but like it's a crowing type thing, and we see Sting standing there with Hall and Nash kind of like behind him with their arms folded, and he goes, it's funny. You see, it's quite hilarious. Everybody in the World Wrestling Federation has their own little thing going on. Has their own little thing going on. Has their own little story, their own little gimmicks. And the only person who gives a damn about us three is the man clinching that World Wrestling Federation World Heavyweight Championship. And you see, as us three stand here in a union, as an alliance, as an order, as a wolf pack, coming together to take down a larger prey, we are on the same page. We all have the same mindset, and we all want the same thing. And that's to bring down the World Wrestling Federation. But it seems like Vince McMahon's too preoccupied with his future son-in-law to even worry about us. To even worry about his own television program. Because you think that Vince McMahon paid for us to have airtime? Oh no. It was none other than Ted Turner himself who gave us, who bought a USA time. So thank you, Uncle Ted. And thank you, Uncle Bischoff, for giving us the lucrative contracts to appear on anywhere, anytime that we want to. Yeah, Vince, you might have your goons building up security to where we couldn't enter Grand Rapids, Michigan here tonight. But that's okay. Because as soon as the cracks start to build, just like in a dam, it's going to have to give. And just because, ladies and gentlemen, just because your favorite guy is in the World Wrestling Federation and happily wears the colors of the World Wrestling Federation, doesn't mean that he wants to be in the World Wrestling Federation. Doesn't mean that he's happy in the World Wrestling Federation. Because since we made it very clear that we are here and we are going to put an end to all this, we had phone calls to WCW's office asking, hey, can we come work for you, Uncle Eric? We heard that Papa Ted is giving the big bucks, and we want to come work for you and your lucrative contracts. Well, sorry. Only us three have those contracts. And we're here. And we're going to put an end to all of this. No more Raw is War. No more SmackDown. What a stupid name for a show anyway. No more Sunday Night Heat. No more of any of that. Because we're here and we are going to make our presence known. And as your world champion doesn't know friend from foe, us three definitely know who our friends are. So see you around, Paul. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, Hunter. We'll be seeing you real soon. And then and it goes to a commercial. And we come back from the commercial. And we have a bout that had good wrestling and decent reaction from the crowd as Ultimo Dragon beats Dean Malenko in 13-27 by pinfall. The match got an 80. Dean Malenko with an 83. Ultimo Dragon with a 76. Announcing gave the match a boost. Not a bad little match at all. I'm happy with this. I'm happy with this. I'm happy with this. This is actually a pretty good little match. After the match, we see Eddie Guerrero, 91. Not bad, Eddie. And he comes out with a mic. And he goes, "You think that I'm supposed to be impressed? Huh? You think I'm supposed to be impressed by you? Everybody knows who you are. Everybody knows what you accomplished. But you're trying to make a name off of Eddie Guerrero? You're trying to get in a match with Eddie Guerrero for this? For my prize? I don't think so. You might have beaten everybody in the light heavyweight division and built yourself up as the number one contender, but the way that I see it, you're not worthy of a title shot against me because I've already beat you. I've already beat you in WCW. Already beat you in New Japan. Already beat you in All Japan. I've already beat you in every single country in the world that has professional wrestling. Mexico, the United States, Canada, Japan, Australia, England, Germany, Spain, everywhere. And you think that you and your accomplishments and who you've beaten so far is worthy enough to once again step in the ring with Eddie Guerrero, then Chico, I got some bad news for you. Because you may have beat Dean Malenko, you may have beat Rey Mysterio, you may have beat Rob Van Dam, you may have beat Jerry Lynn, Lance Storm, Jushin Thunder Liger, but you never and never will beat Eddie Guerrero. So you just keep winning your matches, trying to impress Vince McMahon or whoever's booking this show, and you keep trying to impress them, because at the end of the day, when I meet you and you get a shot at my championship, when I find you worthy enough, I'm going to beat you again. You see, there's nothing in it for me, Ultimo. There's nothing in it for me. You see, I already beat you multiple times. And me, personally, I'm kind of getting bored wrestling you. Kind of getting tired that every single company that I go to, you just so happen to follow me there. So I'll tell you what, why don't we make this a little interesting? You see, I will give you a title shot. And if you win, you get my championship. But if I win, I want your legacy. I want what makes you, you. I want something that you are known for, that identifies you. I want your mask. So what do you say, Ultimo? You claim to be a luchador, huh? You claim to be a real wrestler. Well, I'm from Mexico. I wrestled in Mexico, and I know the rules and the tradition of luchador culture. And I know once I beat you again and take your mask, you'll have nothing left. And that seems like a fair trade to give you a title shot for my championship. So what do you say, Ultimo? Mask versus title. And Ultimo just stands there. Kind of puts his hands on the steps and he puts his head down. And he's thinking about it and everything like that. And then he looks up at Eddie Guerrero. And he gets a mic. He asks for a mic and they hand him a mic. And he looks at Eddie Guerrero and he goes, Eddie, I accept your challenge. And this time, I'm going to beat you. And I'm going to humiliate you. And it will be you whose legacy will be tarnished. Segment got a 91. Eddie Guerrero improvised well. Nazi color commentator getting a match boost. So, at the No Mercy pay-per-view, we are going to see Eddie Guerrero taking on Ultimo Dragon in a title versus mask matchup. Big match. Big match right there. Will Eddie Guerrero retain the championship, or will Ultimo Dragon lose his mask? We will have to find out in about 2 weeks' time. We still have time to the pay-per-view. We're going to move on to the next segment. And it is Rey Mysterio versus Kurt Angle. Rey Mysterio, as we seen earlier tonight, Rey Mysterio accepted Kurt Angle's challenge. This is Rey Mysterio's big opportunity here in the World Wrestling Federation as he fights a main event caliber wrestler like Kurt Angle here in the World Wrestling Federation. And here we go. They have a back and forth matchup. And here we go. Let's see. The segment got 100. A 94. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised with this at all. At all. Not surprised. But this, I'm really excited to see that score. And about that had superb wrestling and great heat. Rey Mysterio Jr. defeats Kurt Angle by pinfall with a surprise roll-up. Rey Mysterio gets manhandled the whole match. Kurt is just picking him up and slamming him. Olympic-style wrestling. Just having his way with Rey Mysterio. And just beating the holy hell out of Rey Mysterio. But Kurt thinking that Rey Mysterio is not a challenge, starts to get cocky and starts to underestimate his opponent. And Rey Mysterio gets him with the surprise. Boom, hits him with a 619. West Coast pop. What is Rey Mysterio's finisher right now? I want to say it's a springboard hurricanrana or something like that. Kurt Angle with a fucking 100. I just seen that. Holy shit. Let's go, Kurt. Damn, Kurt. Okay. All right, then. Rey Mysterio with an 85. I mean, that's nothing to scoff at, but holy shit, Kurt Angle coming out here putting in work after that injury. Damn, I wish this was a pay-per-view, man. I would literally fucking put Kurt Angle on a fucking pedestal right now. Hell yeah, Kurt. Good job, man. They had a banger of a match. Rey Mysterio picks up the win. After the match, Kurt Angle can't believe it. Kurt Angle can't believe it. Rey Mysterio, he gets out of the ring with Tim White, and he's celebrating. And Kurt cannot believe it. Kurt is screaming at the top of his lungs. He's arguing with ringside officials. Like, no, that wasn't a 3. Replay it. I got my shoulder up. I kicked out. Kurt kicked out at 3.1 seconds. But it was a 3. Rey Mysterio picks up the win, and Kurt's not having it. Kurt is just throwing a fit. He starts tearing up the announcer's desk. He's throwing monitors on the ground. He's screaming and cussing. They have to bring security out to calm Kurt down. He starts beating the shit out of security and everything like that. And he's just having a fit. But Rey Mysterio picks up one of the biggest wins of his WWF career so far, as he beats Kurt Angle here tonight. Announcing in color commentary, gave the match a boost, and Kurt Angle benefited from having crowd support. Excuse me. Kurt Angle with a 100. This segment got a 100. Kurt Angle with a 100 in that match. Holy shit. I was not expecting that from Kurt Angle. Or that match to get a 94. I mean, that's a pay-per-view level match right there. Wink, wink. But we're going to move on to our next segment. Rey Mysterio picking up the win here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And we move on to our main event tonight, which is the Intercontinental Championship ceremony. As you see The Rock and Stephanie walking hand in hand down to the ring. The Rock's holding her hand. Stephanie is all happy. She's lollygagging to the ring with The Rock. She's all happy. As Vince and his goons are in the ring. And they have a like a pedestal with the red bag and everything like that, with the red tarp over the thing. And The Rock has the Intercontinental Championship that we all love, the design that we all love. We know which one we're talking about. And The Rock gets in the ring, and he thanks Vince, and Vince is like, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to usher in a new era for the Intercontinental Championship. As we seen last Friday on SmackDown, this man gave us probably one of the best matches on live television. To the point that our competitors down south couldn't even compete with the old washed up has-beens that are there. I have to give credit to where credit's due and say Chris Jericho and The Rock had one of the best matches of all time here in the World Wrestling Federation. And I know that Chris Jericho is not here with us tonight, but that brings me to my point that The Rock will now retire the Intercontinental Championship, and he will debut the brand new World Wrestling Federation Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship title. And Vince McMahon, he pulls up the thing, and it's the, oval Intercontinental Championship. And The Rock, he hands Vince McMahon the Intercontinental Championship that we all love the design of. And he takes the oval Intercontinental Championship, his brand new Intercontinental Championship. And Vince McMahon goes, now with The Rock being the World Wrestling Federation Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, he's like, this championship is the workhorse, has always represented the workhorse. I don't know why I couldn't say that. Of the World Wrestling Federation. And as we've seen on SmackDown, we couldn't have a better Intercontinental Champion. Somebody who is not only the main event of the World Wrestling Federation, but a future megastar of the World Wrestling Federation. Why? I shouldn't say future. He is the megastar of the World Wrestling Federation. And the fans, start, Austin, Austin, Austin. You can chant his name all you want, no matter how bad you want it. He will never be a champion here in the World Wrestling Federation. As much as you want it, as much as you crave it, he will never be anything in the World Wrestling Federation. In fact, I am waiting for his contract to come up in the World Wrestling Federation because my dearly beloved wife, my Linda McMahon, signed Steve Austin to a guaranteed lucrative contract before her passing, and now I have to deal with Austin for quite some time. And he goes, but that doesn't mean that I have to push Austin. That doesn't mean I have to book Austin. That means I don't have to give Austin any damn thing that he thinks he deserves. So you can chant Austin all you want, because this is not about Stone Cold Steve Austin. This is about the future of the World Wrestling Federation, the face of the World Wrestling Federation, my future son-in-law, The Rock. And The Rock takes the microphone and he goes, finally, The Rock has come back to a shithole like Grand Rapids, Michigan. And the crowd boos. And The Rock goes, oh, that made you mad, eh? 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 Don't they say that here? Huh? A boot? No, I'm thinking of somewhere else. Anyway, The Rock doesn't give a damn what you fans want. You can chant whoever you want, name that you want. But at the end of the day, when you go home and you're laying in bed, the last name that you're going to remember is Rocky, 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 Rocky. Because you know, and I know, that The Rock is the most electrifying man in all of sports entertainment, and that The Rock is now the future and forever will be the greatest professional wrestler the World Wrestling Federation has ever seen. Not only is The Rock the youngest Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion in history, but The Rock will go on to become the youngest World Wrestling Federation World Heavyweight Champion in history. And The Rock is also the youngest to main event a WrestleMania, and The Rock is going to be one of the few men to go back-to-back and main event WrestleMania for the World Wrestling Federation World Heavyweight Championship. So you can chant all you want to, because this title right here proves that I am the best of the best of the best. You got somebody going around here saying he's the best in the world. You got another one going around here saying he's the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Well, let me tell you something. I broke one of them's heart, and I sent the other one as embarrassed that The Rock whooped his jabroni candy ass, that he didn't even bother to show up tonight. Now I'll let y'all decide on who's who. Not only does The Rock have his own TV show, which he will be at, but The Rock is now the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. And The Rock is a megastar. And The Rock just keeps going on and on and on. And he goes, now, because if you smell what The Rock is, and all of a sudden, and Stone Cold comes out, you know, and they're looking around, they're like, what the fuck? Stone Cold, like, Vince is like telling his goons, like, look, what, like, protect me, you know. And Stone Cold just comes out. He just comes out from the crowd, and he just starts beating the shit out of Vince McMahon. And Stephanie's freaking out, and then Gerald Briscoe kind of grabs Austin. Boom, he hits him with a stunner. Sergeant Slaughter, Shane McMahon, you know, he's just beating up Vince, and The Rock kind of like, hey, you know, Rock like grabs him. He goes to hit him with the rock bottom. Austin reverses it. He hits him with a stunner. And Austin then looks down at The Rock's title, you know. And he looks down at it, and he looks at Vince. And he picks up the Intercontinental Championship, and he picks up the old Intercontinental Championship title. And Austin just climbs over the barricade in the crowd and just walks off, you know, and holds up both the titles as we end the show. We finish the show. It got a 95, not bad. I think we do, I say it every single time, but we do have the best TV deal in Canada, which sucks that we're not getting the popularity that we really deserve in Canada. But we increased our popularity in 24 24 regions. We got a 95. The Rey Mysterio Kurt Angle match, what a banger of a match with a 94. Man, I can't believe it did that good. Which, like, I was expecting, like, in the 90s, but a 94, man, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting, like, a high 80, maybe low 90, but 94, man, that's really good. Finish the show. I don't know who you are, sir. I'm sorry. And I pretty much know every single professional wrestler in this era. Big Trouble in Little WCW. The future looks bleak for WCW as reports indicate that the company is in a complete tailspin with audience dropping rapidly and many of the top stars on the blink of walking out. Some insiders have even stated that the company could be out of business by the end of next month. Oh, man. Okay, well, dang, that guy joined the company. That might be a big reason I had to let him go, because he was getting in some fights backstage. He was just a nuisance. Some of these guys I wouldn't mind picking up from WCW. Like that guy. I don't know how y'all feel about that guy. But, yep, that guy. That guy would be cool to have. That guy would definitely be cool to have. Love to have that guy. You know. But they don't have those lucrative contracts to where they can appear on any show. So, you know, we gotta do some of that. Any more WCW news? Alex Wright re-signing, which is crap. Ken Shamrock is leaving. He's going to go in 8 weeks. He's going to go fight in UFC. Which, if you don't see Ken Shamrock for a while, you'll know why. And, yeah, let's see what... we already checked WCW. These are mine. I'm not showing y'all these. Somebody might have failed a drug test. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody failed a drug test. But my name is Dylan the Villain. Thank y'all for watching this episode, guys. This has been another long banger of an episode. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for sticking it out in the end. If you are new to the channel and like what you see, subscribe icon will be over the Raw is War logo. If you like this episode and want to go back and watch previous episodes, that playlist will be right here. And in this right-hand corner, I'm going to put the 100th episode special, which is episode 102. Special episode, which is the premiere episode of SmackDown. We have a special guest, BioCorpse, doing guest commentary that night. For that episode and everything like that. Thank y'all for watching, guys. Like the video, like always. Leave a comment down below. I will get back to you, and I do comment back. Thank y'all, and like we always say here at Pro Am Gaming, if you can't play with each other, do what I'm doing right now and play with yourself. I'll see y'all on the next episode.